I'm Christopher Titus. Welcome to 2015, and this is the Armageddon Update. And just when I think the world can get no more idiotic or asinine, the universe cranks the dumbass meter to unbelievable. This last week in France, 12 people were killed in the name of Islam. Now, who are these brutal enemies of Allah? Who are these demons who are using the Quran for toilet paper? Cartoonists. That's right, political cartoonists. People who draw badly and are rarely brilliantly funny. A group of people who the most non-threatening things come out of. These are the gentlest human beings on the planet. Cartoonists are like the toy Pomeranians of humor and satire. Just a quiet bark in the distance that makes us all go, aww. 10 cartoonists were shot to death in France last week, and 2 police officers because they had been put on a Enemies of Islam list. And these cartoonists were in the top 10 on that list. Yeah, top 10 on the Enemies of Islam list. Not an opposing army or a genocidal dictator or Dick Cheney or Miley Cyrus. Cartoonists. And French cartoonists at that. They weren't even Ku Klux Klan cartoonists. Now, I had a couple of these cartoons translated, and you know what? They weren't hilarious or biting. One shows a jihadist about to cut the head off another fella, and the guy with the knife is saying, "I'm cutting your head off in the name of the prophet." And the other guy says, "I am the prophet, moron." See, this cartoon is saying that jihadists don't even get the religion they are representing. So then, in response, they brutally murdered the guys that put out that cartoon, proving that they don't understand the religion they are representing. Morons. Anyone else fed up with this shit to the point that maybe we could put away all the political correctness and have a serious talk about Islam now? I know I'm an infidel. Hell, I put up a picture of Osama bin Laden on my Neverlution comedy special on Comedy Central with the words "dead like Elvis" under Osama bin Laden's picture. I didn't even make the top 10 list. Hell, I think I got more complaints from Elvis fans. So let's get to the heart of this. Using religion to kill innocents. Wow, what a bunch of pussies jihadists are. That's right, ISIS, they're killing reporters. Reporters, they aren't walking into the Navy SEAL barracks in San Diego screaming Allah Akbar. They're guys armed with pens and voice recorders. The Boko Haram, bitches stole teenage girls. Just took teenage girls. A lot of fighting those, yeah. You guys are super badasses. And then you killed 2,000 unarmed people who were just waiting for lunch. How about walking into a high school in East LA and trying to take some girls, you bitches? Huh? Anderson Cooper was reporting that 50 terrorists were dead in Inglewood. And for the 2 idiots to gun down cartoonists, wow. Just when you thought Islamic terrorists couldn't be more pussy-ish, more weak-ass, pathetic chicken shit douchebags, they take it to the next level by killing some goofballs that wrote cartoons? What's next? Stand-up comedians? You're going to bust into the funny bone with some weapons? Or you're going to go after a bitingly satirical puppet show on the wharf here in Santa Monica? You know, if you guys are trying to scare us, know this. In not one instance has what you, quote, soldiers of Islam have done has worked. Not one. World Trade Center? Sure, we lost a lot of good, innocent people, but you lost a lot more innocent people after what we responded to, and the new World Trade Center is a symbol to how weak, pathetic, and ineffective you really are. Everything you Islamic fundamentalists do to scare the rest of the world into changing to your ways pushes you deeper into the hole that you dug in the 10th century, and you just keep digging, ignorant and small. Now listen, we all know that you're going to kill some more people somewhere. You know, maybe you'll step up your game and slaughter some innocent people at a Build-A-Bear workshop in the mall. People who didn't even know there was a fight. But in the end, your hypocrisy is so crystal clear to everyone. You are so afraid of women that you claim that them just being born female is a sin. That means there's not a real man in the bunch of you, because a real man would let your woman take off the pup tents and walk around looking good, click-clacking the heels. Yeah, put it up, girl. You look good. Mm-hmm. See, I'm proud of my girl. And for Christ's sake, just realize you can laugh at yourselves. Is that why you hate the Jews? Because the Jews laugh at themselves all the time, and they own everything. So do me a favor, jihadist. Stop being a jihadist. Just put down the weapons and join us here in the future, where women drive and people joke and laugh about themselves, and we all use deodorant. And if you don't want to go all that way, hell, at least come and join us in the 15th century. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Hello, everybody. Christopher Titus. We're back. 2015, the new year. for the Titus podcast. With me, as always, is the lovely Bombshell Rae.
What's up, people?
And also the effervescent and looking kind of buffed Willie Jello Johnson.
Yeah, man, I've been doing some protein shake, man. The girl turned me on to it, man. Said, you do this, you're going to get bigger. And then I do a lot of push-ups.
Well, it looks good.
Thank you, my brother.
Plant-based protein.
And, dude, I just want you to know that you just pissed off an entire couple billion people with that last podcast.
I will say this to you. I don't agree with you because I believe that people are people, and certain people that follow Islam. I have a friend of mine, Everlast. He follows the Muslim religion, considers himself a Muslim. He's fine. He's not about to kill anybody. Doesn't believe that everybody should go his way. What pisses me off most about this is I am tired. Aren't you tired of it? Like first of all, when I say they're pussies, why aren't you guys attacking a military installation?
Right.
You know, why aren't you going after the White House, or why aren't you going after the French Parliament? How come you go after some cartoonists in a building? Like, you know, it's like attacking the writers' room at Titus, a bunch of dorks and nerds who are trying to write jokes. That's basically how tough, badass are you? Do you think that's what Allah or Muhammad had in mind when they were talking about fighting in a war? That you're going to go after a bunch of guys that are drawing characters? I just get to the point now where I'm tired of it. And the thing is that we keep talking about it like, well, it's just some bad ones. But I started going over some stuff, and I was looking at the tenets of the Quran, and there's literally a bunch of stuff that, hey, you know, wherever they don't believe what you believe, take them out. I can quote those, actually, because I brought the paperwork with me, but it's really long. That's right, Titus, reading the Quran. Just to check it out. It's more of a research read.
That's riveting.
But it's kind of dry. I will say it's a bit dry. But
I feel like by what they did, it's so funny to me because people don't really they don't get it, but they just proved the cartoonist point.
Yeah, right. No more people going to read that book than ever read, that magazine, right?
Right, and people are reposting the cartoons and
yeah, and all of it only had a circulation of 60,000. They're printing this week. How much is it?
I saw on the news 3 million. They're going to do 3 million now. So basically, and the cover is a cartoon of Allah holding up a thing that said "I am Charlie" on there.
It was like, so great. So basically what they did was they just amplified everything that they hated.
So let's start at the beginning. I just want to, I have to be honest and say, and we actually have done a podcast on this religion where we read from the Quran, but that was I think in our first 10 maybe. So that podcast has long fallen away and I don't remember any of it.
Right.
But just let's start at the bottom, basics, kindergarten.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, kindergarten. Is there a kindergarten Quran?
Islam.
Pop-up book?
No, these are just facts.
Just pops
Islam describes the religion.
Right.
Muslim describes the person following the religion.
Right.
So a few minutes ago when you said the Muslim faith or the Muslim religion,
right,
that would not be correct.
But a lot of Muslims follow Islam.
That is correct.
Right.
Well, Muslim is the person, Islam is the faith.
Got it.
Okay. I'm trying to educate people here with the Titus podcast.
Well, when you say kindergarten, I know you're talking about me.
Yeah, you got that right, man. Whenever she said, let's break it down to a base level, she talking to you.
But I didn't know that. I had to look it up.
Okay, go ahead.
That's it. I just wanted to share that.
That's it. Is that really? That was your whole insight? That was the entire... Wow. So...
Okay, look, you don't know, but a lot of people at home right now are like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, right. So here's the problem I have. These people, these jihadists, the fundamentalists, you know, because there's a lot of people that follow Islam that don't. They're just living the modern world. They live in the modern world. They just happen to be, that's their religion. Blah blah blah. They're like us. They go on Easter and Christmas maybe, but not, you know, whatever their Easter and Christmas is, because I have not done that much research. They're just crappy religious people like the rest of us are.
Right. Normal.
Right, normal. That's
human beings aspiring to be better and falling short.
Falling horribly short.
That
right,
describes
exactly.
my everyday.
But in a time of struggle and turmoil, you have this religion. You can throw a hook out, like a bad hook out, and hook on, and then go to church, come out, you know, to pray for, because, you know, if someone's sick or whatever. So we kind of keep just a toe in the water all the time. That most people are like that. Pretty much whatever religion you believe, Scientologists, everybody. Every religion has some nuttiness in it. What bothers me about this is that These guys, these Orthodox Muslim jihadists, they want to go back to a time of like 600 when they supposedly ran and they had the caliphates and the empire and blah blah blah. And it's not going to happen. You know why? Here's why. Because we've invented the nuclear weapon now. So let's say that you guys all got together and took out a whole bunch of people. Now I know you're starting at the cartoonists, and again, I said eventually a Build-A-Bear workshop, and maybe you'll go to take down the Sesame Street people because Elmo's always kind of real subtly anti-Islam. So even if you did that, we would just vaporize you. That's what would happen. And every time they have tried to do something, it has not worked out. Now people go, well, all religions do that. What about Christians? Well, okay, yeah, you go. Right. The Crusades, sure. But our bad guys now in the Christian faith are these God hates fags, Westboro church douchebags. They're protesting. They just make signs. They're basically a bad cheerleading squad. They just make signs and protest, and they're easily stopped by a bunch of bikers with American flags. Okay? Your guys are going in, arming up, getting as much weapons as possible, and shooting innocent people, like people that didn't do anything.
Well, I would say they did do something. They actually wrote a cartoon about Muhammad, and it'd be like if someone did a cartoon about Jesus.
You mean like South Park?
Exactly. Like Jesus is on pretty much every episode of South Park, and we just kind of laugh about it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You've just made my point again. Our country, Christians laugh about themselves. They laugh. People might get offended. I think it was someone said that. I think our psycho militant survivalist, the Reverend,
yes.
posted something on Facebook that said he was talking about some guy basically did an art exposition or art installation where someone was peeing on Jesus on the cross, and two Christians went in with guns and shot it up. It's in the news. It's in the bag. And I thought, okay, well, I see.
Have you checked this?
I don't know. With Rev, I just eventually go, well, either it happened or he made it up in his head, and either way, it's still vivid, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that dude scared me sometime with his posts.
I know, but he's such a good dude. He's really, if he's on your side, he's the best dude in the world.
Yeah, you definitely want him on your side.
Yeah, if he ain't on your side, you're going to get, well, first of all, there's going to be a 42-paragraph thing about you, and then he's going to talk about how get off his rock.
Yeah, he does say that a lot. Get off his rock. It's his rock.
It is his rock.
It is his rock. And I don't quite understand. So help me with this, because I'm the only one talking now. No one else is jumping in.
I've been jumping in.
I know, but she's just sitting there blahing, looking at her phone, and she's looking at her iPad.
My iPad has verses from the Quran that prescribe violence. I was just...
Okay, do you have... Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the difference. Now, people go, the Old Testament has violence. Yeah, that's why it's called the Old Testament. We wrote a new one, and we updated it.
And there was a baby.
Yeah, there was a baby.
And a manger.
And a lot of turning the other
gifts.
cheek.
There
was gifts and myrrh. There was some myrrh. I don't know what myrrh is, but if we had
frankincense.
Right, there was frankincense. There was a lot of...
Shepherds.
Yeah, help your brother. There was a lot of turn the other cheek. If someone makes fun of you, turn the other cheek. It wasn't. If someone makes fun of you, get a couple weapons, go into the place and shoot everybody.
But also, what's interesting
That's why it's called the New Testament.
Right, we learned.
Yeah, we learned and we updated.
It was Bible 2.0.
Yeah, Bible. There you go. We did Bible 2.0, and that's what we're saying. That's why when you say, "Well, what about the Old Testament?"
Have you gotten the update? No, you got to plug in your Bible.
Oh, Bible. Yeah, dude. You know what you need to do.
So
different.
You
need to stop smoting people. Because they fixed it.
They fixed that whole smoting thing.
There was a glitch. They took it out. Yeah, they fixed it.
And the eunuch thing, gone. Yeah. No more eunuchs.
No more eunuchs.
No, it's weird.
A lot of the stuff that we hated in Old Testament, Bible 2.0, better. It's better.
Totally fixed it.
Still some weird stuff in it, but better.
But I will say one thing that is interesting in
Bible 2.0
in reading
I like that too.
is that in the Quran it seems like that violence is promoted against non-believers of Islam.
Right.
Whereas you don't so much find verses even in the Old Testament that say, hey, go find someone that disagrees with you and kill them.
Yeah.
So the direction, like the violence, it's a very different thing, I would say. And there's at least 109 verses that call Muslims to war with non-believers in the Quran.
So it's not even that. It's not even just go kill the evil people. It's like kill people that don't think how you think. That's basically saying. So when people go, well, we just got to understand their culture. Bullshit. I'm not going to understand some culture that actually believes in its religion. One of its tenets of religion is to kill other people. Now, again, I will go back to say a lot of people that left these countries, these Muslims that left, they do not believe this. Again, they keep their toe in the water of religion most of the time, and then they just go, when they need it. But they don't go on a jihad. I was reading about some of the schools in Saudi Arabia and stuff, and and by the way, just so everybody knows, there's going to be a lot of ignorance that comes out in this podcast, and I wouldn't say we're proud of it, but we're aware of it.
It's vivid ignorance.
Vivid, yeah.
We're aware of it.
Two of the pastiest, whitest person.
And we're working on it.
And one of the most American black people ever.
Right. We're going to be dumb. We're going to have ignorance, and we're going to say things wrong sometimes. But basically our overall thing is, don't be a dick with your religion, right?
Yeah, I'll accept that.
That's clear. That's
I'll
clear.
Accept it.
That's a T-shirt.
Be understanding of other people's contribution.
So, but these jihadists specific. Okay, so let's say now if these guys were warriors, let's say they were warriors and and all of a sudden they took down. Let's say they took down something crazy. They did take the Navy SEAL base down, and we were like, "Oh my God, these guys are badass ninja, crazy badasses who believe in their religion." They didn't. They took down some cartoonists who they knew. They were pretty sure. Do you think these guys who dressed all in black like they were ninjas and had automatic weapons, do you think they thought there was going to be an opposing force on the other side? Or is it going to be a bunch of dorks who draw cartoons going, pardon? That's pretty much what happened. They weren't going up against an army. And if you go Boko Haram, they go into schools and they're taking girls. You guys are a bunch of pathetic, weak-ass pussies. Now, here's what they would say. Well, we'll come get you then. You're still pathetic. If you tomorrow you took out anybody who spoke against you, you're still pathetic. And by the way, those bombs that they're dropping on you, see that drone going overhead? Take that thing down. Then maybe. But it's like this whole jihadist thing is like, what is wrong with you that you have all this free time to think about someone who did a cartoon? Do you understand? I mean, help me wrap my mind around it.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, go ahead. No, I have ideas. Yeah, I think that's because in the black community, there's a lot of disaffected people that don't have stuff going on in their life. And I think in a lot of these countries, man, they don't have future possibility or whatever, education. So what they do is they got to get you. Look, human beings need something to get up every day. We need something to get us going. Me, for a while I had breast milk. I would actually, I knew that I had a business to run and breast milk was going to be distributed.
Are you admitting this on air now?
Yeah, I did my time for the breast milk, man. Hey, I moved on. Like it's almost like it's scared straight. Like if I would sit down a bunch of road kids say, look, dude, man, don't ever deal in breast milk. What could happen? You're going in the joint.
So you turned a lot of youth away from a life of breast milk crime?
I did, man. I did. Yeah, breast milk distribution is not a way to go. It's just a dead end. It's an ugly end for everyone. Lying in the corner, smelling like diapers.
Why do you smell like diapers?
Why would you smell like diapers?
Because if you're actually... here's what I'll say about breast milk. Never get high on your own supply.
Oh, I got it.
So I believe that there's a lot of disaffected youth. Some of these countries don't have a lot of economic possibilities for the youth. They don't have a lot of, it's not like they're promoting everything. Some of these, and that's why they come up like that. Like in Africa, the Boko Haram, you got nothing to do every day. So you just say, all right, I'm going to join them dudes with guns. At least we got a purpose.
Yeah, but even if your purpose is pure evil.
Purpose is a purpose sometimes,
Speaking of breast milk and Islam, it is interesting to me.
That may be the title of this podcast.
Well, because, for example, they can't even, it's like what you said, women are sinful. In general, we've talked about this with my mom on here before. Women, your beauty is sin.
Right, just because you look like you look, just being born like that.
It's very convenient for men, I will say, Muslim men. But it's sinful if a man looks at you, then you're the one that has sinned.
Well, here, you want to hear the top?
That's why you must cover all of your beauty.
Right.
And you can't even talk about boobs. That's how I tied in breast milk. See how nice. I segued with boobs? Yeah. Because women over there are dying because they are getting breast cancer and they're finding lumps that could be removed or whatever.
Their lives could be saved.
And they cannot tell anyone because they cannot say boobs, breasts, whatever, or draw attention to it. And another example is my mom right now. We're in the midst of a serious health scare.
Yeah, we have some. There's a scare. Any good thoughts, prayers out for to
just pray.
Yeah.
Just pray for us. Everybody, just say a prayer for her. It's pretty serious. But she is actually coming back to the States because if something happens to her as it's progressively getting worse, if she has to go into the hospital,
right?
Her husband, my new dad, can't go in and be with her
because it's female only.
Because it's women on that wing. So if she could die and he could never come in to see her.
Wow, that makes total sense in 2015, doesn't it? That totally makes sense in 2015. That's what I'm saying. Why does this group of people want to live in the 5th century, 6th century? Why is that? I don't quite understand it. I don't understand. By the way, I totally get the rules. I mean, the anti-female rules in the Quran are crazy. Here's the top 10. Number 1, a husband has sex with his wife as a plow goes into a dirt field. Yeah.
Oh, talk dirty.
Right? Dirt is in there. Dirt is actually in the thing. That's actually, what is it? Quran chapter 2-223 says, your women are your fields, so go into your fields whichever way you like.
I beg you. There's only one way you're coming up in this field, because I am Western. I am Americanized. There are only so many entry points.
Right. So that's one. Number 9. Husbands are a degree above their wives. The Quran at 2.228 says, wives have the same rights as the husbands have on them in accordance with the generally known principles. Of course, men are a degree above them in status. See, now as a man, part of me deep down goes, these rules are pretty good.
I know, man. These rules actually, hey, deep down we all feel like that, but we live here, so we can't follow these rules. Where's that exactly?
The look on her face is not good, dude.
Yeah, you scaring me. Look away. We joking.
By the way, it's BS anyway, because they don't, my mom lives in the Middle East. They don't treat women like they're just a degree above them.
Oh, I know.
My mom has students that are locked in their homes.
Like when they go to school and then they're back in their homes and locked in.
No, I mean, like, for a period of time, one of her students was working on a photography project, which she wasn't really allowed out of the home anyway. And but she went out and she took pictures, and in one of the pictures she caught like a street vendor or something like that. And the husband who's been taught this bullshit, and he's only 20-something.
It is bullshit, by the way.
But
I just want to be very clear.
But he's been fed this crap, which is very convenient for him.
Yeah, for every man, this is really.
They can also have multiple wives, and they get rid of the wives once they hit past their prime age of 35 or whatever. Yeah. They dump them out into the streets and they're homeless, or they move into shelters under the embassy. But she gets a picture of a street vendor, and she's working on a collage for her university project.
Right.
And he catches that. It's a male, beats her nearly to death, and she gets locked in her home for 2 weeks. My mom said she never came to class.
Because he took a picture of another man.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's number 8. A male gets double share of the inheritance over that of a female. Quran 4.11 says, the share of the male shall be twice that of a female. That's, by the way, that's it. That's.
They don't keep them around for inheritance anyway.
Right. Number 7, a woman's testimony counts half of a man's testimony. The Quran 2.282 says, and let 2 men from among you bear witness to all such documents and contracts of loans without interest. But if 2 men be not available, there should be 1 man and 2 women to bear witness, so that if one of the women forgets anything, the other may remind her. It's like...
This is incredibly insulting on a level that I don't even understand.
This, by the way, they're all intertwined to be very convenient. Like, her testimony counts half of his,
but this is what I'm talking about,
especially as it pertains to him plowing her.
Right.
Which is happening over there all the time. Women are getting raped, and it's either their fault because they were attractive and intentionally enticing men.
The prophet said, isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man? The woman said yes. And he said, this is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind.
So what he's saying is bitches be crazy.
I think that's pretty much the prophet said, bitches be crazy. I think I would say that.
It's amazing to me that women choose this.
6, a wife may remarry her ex-husband if and only if she marries another man. They have sex, and then this second man divorces her. The Quran 2.230 says, here, read this one. It's right there. It's right here.
Why do I have to read it?
Because I think coming from a woman, it's kind of cool to hear it.
What do you want me to read?
This one right here. Do you read this one right here?
Oh, my God. And if the husband divorces his wife for the 3rd time, she shall not remain his lawful wife after this divorce, unless she marries another husband and the second husband divorces her. In that case, there is no harm if they, the first couple, remarry.
Now, my dad got divorced 6 times, so that may have applied to him in certain aspects. But I mean, how far is this taking wives, screwing around, getting rid of them, bringing them back? That they had to go to the 3rd time. They basically had to go, all right, 3 times a charm on this one. Listen, if you do her, you don't want to do her anymore, she gets another guy, he does her, he doesn't want her, she can come back if you want to do her again. Basically, that's what it's saying, right?
Right.
Okay. I don't understand.
I think that was Quran Cliff Notes.
You ready? Yeah. You can get to it.
Yeah, man, just shorten it up a little bit for everybody, man. You can break the whole book down to 14, 15 pages.
Maybe. All right. Number 5. Slave girls are sexual property for their male owners. Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah. Here the Quran 4.24 says, and forbidden to you are wedded wives of other people, except those who have fallen in your hands. And then in parentheses, as prisoners of war. Yeah. This is it, people. This is why I say at one point, I go, listen, if you don't get to be a dickhead because of your religion, and we make fun of them. Here, Westboro Baptist Church, dickheads, Oral Roberts. Certain these guys, whenever one of our quote-unquote prophets, our preachers goes off the rails and gets caught with a hooker, what do? We ream that dude. We don't make a bunch of new rules for him that makes it okay. If you're one that preaches to the multitudes, the slave girls you pick couldn't be met into a men's
By the way,
bathroom.
I don't see, it's like you and I both are uncomfortable doing this subject and doing this podcast.
I'm not after this weekend, I'm not
But I'm
anymore.
just saying, in general, people are. Everybody's so scared in political correctness and crap like that.
Right.
But nobody has any problem talking smack about Westboro Baptist Church or the snake handler guy or any...
Or Scientology.
No, love joking
or
about
the
them.
Jews. I mean, even Jews.
Yep.
Or
no problem.
you know who doesn't get...
So you tell me who's violent.
Buddhists don't get body slammed. Buddhists kind of chill back. Because you can't... Buddhists are so chill, you can't even make fun of them. No one even gets mad. They just laugh. Number 4, a man may be polygamous with up to 4 wives. You can have 4 wives.
I get why people like this. I do have to
but
say.
you can divorce the older ones or just throw them out, and then you've created some
and then you
open
get a
spaces.
new one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we basically there's a place on the roster. Come on in. Let's get a new girl.
Exactly.
Damn.
All right, wait, hold on before, because I always want to quote which one. The Quran in Surah 4.3 says, and if you be apprehensive that you will not be able to do justice to the orphans, you may marry 2 or 3 or 4 women whom you choose. But if you apprehend that you might not be able to do justice to them, then marry only 1 wife, or marry those who have fallen in your possession. I love that. Just because, what if I told you that? Well, Ray, yeah, we got together because she just fell into my possession. So I own her now. She's in my possession. I like that, by the way. I like the way that sounds.
Kill that bitch.
Oh man. So you have special permission to marry as many women as desired. Now, by the way, I want to be clear. This is the old stuff. A Muslim polygamist may simply get rid of one of his undesirable wives. This is number 3. Quran in 4:129 says, "It is not within your power to be perfectly equitable in your treatment with all your wives, even if you wish to do so. Therefore, in order to satisfy the dictates of divine law, do not lean towards one wife so as to leave the other in a state of suspense." Basically, cut her loose if you don't like them. Wow.
If you want to, just do a little search.
Number 2, husbands may hit their wives even if the husbands merely fear high-handedness. Even if you fear if you just talk back, they can beat you. That's Quran.
I'd be in trouble.
4.34.
Oh my gosh, you don't have to do all that. Just
I'm
Cliff Notes.
I am just doing it. I'm not going to
Hit
do
it.
the whole thing.
Roll through it.
All right, I'm doing the next one now. Hold on.
Move along.
I know. I got it.
See who wears you see who wears the abaya in this relationship.
Don't be high-handed, or I might have to go Muslim on you. And number 1, mature men are allowed to marry prepubescent girls.
Ooh.
That's Quran 65.
That's the rapey section of the Quran.
Yeah. And there is a rapey
Very
section.
popular section.
So if anybody thinks that I'm being disrespectful, I'm being politically incorrect, I don't give a shit, frankly. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you got to call it as you see it. And after all this time, 9/11, all the stuff that's gone on for these hundreds of years, and all the abuse. I think we all know that we're all pretty much equal. We have women that run things. It's not like, although I will say this: you are crazy.
What?
I'm getting high-handed. Don't hit me.
Yeah, man, that high-handedness go both ways.
What?
Yeah, don't let him get high-handed over you.
I don't. Religionofpeace.com. You can go and look and see since the 80s how many people have been killed by radical Muslims. And just if you're keeping score, almost 3,000 people were killed by radical Muslims just on 9/11 alone. So,
what's the total number? Do they have a number for the last 10, 20 years?
No, it's actually broken down.
Uh-huh.
A lot in California, interestingly enough. I thought this was the most understanding. Yeah. Oakland, Berkeley, lots of Oakland. I wonder why that is.
They came. Oakland is kind of a lower rent place, and it's still close to San Francisco, and it's right over the bridge. So they would come here and they would work in the city. There was a lot of, and Silicon Valley brought a lot of people over.
I mean, some of these I don't even remember. And it really breaks it down. Who did it? Why? The year? The location? It's really interesting. But a lot of women dying within families. I mean,
because they disgraced their family. They were too westernized. One girl got killed because she was, quote, acting too Western.
Right.
Yep.
She got stabbed to death by her family.
Yep.
And they said that it was their culture and their faith.
And that you needed to understand it.
Even though we lived here.
Right.
They lived
Even
here.
though you left your culture and your faith to come to
our,
America, who the hedonistic, over-the-top, strip club American, gun store, alcohol store, you came here and you had the balls to actually still think that you can still live by the laws that you lived over there? Not a chance. And by the way, if you are going to come here, I don't care what culture you're part of. If you're binding the feet of little children, you're Chinese, and you're folding some poor little kid's foot over so it fits in a tiny shoe, and that's your culture, bullshit. If you're in America, you don't abuse your kid. If you come here from whatever country in the world and you think that your daughter, because she's listening to Lady Gaga, is acting too Western, and you decide that she needs to be stabbed to save your honor, you're bullshit. You're a low-rent human being who really needs to be taken off the planet, frankly. It's not cultural. You're a psychopath. When Jared Loughner and these assholes, the dude that went in that theater in Denver and shot all those people.
That wasn't Jared Loughner.
No, Jared Loughner was the guy in Arizona. The other kid.
Right.
What the hell was his name? Okay, so both of those guys, right? At least our psychos don't claim religious exemption to being assholes. You know what our psychos do? They just go, no, I was taking prescription medication. And they continue to act like psychos. They don't say, no, my God says it was okay. So, by the way, why don't you back off your God and just admit you're a fucking psychopath? How about that? You killed your daughter because you're a psychopath. It's not cultural. You're an asshole. And because of some book that was written like 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, doesn't give you the right to, in this day and age, to act like a douchebag. So stop it. I think we need the Quran 2.0, like we did the Bible 2.0. Can we do the New Testament? I'm sure they have it. I'm sure we're going to get it. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, you killed, really, are you a badass? You really, like, who celebrated those guys killing some cartoonists? Who celebrated that? Like, were people going, la, 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 were they flipping out? And I'm tired of it. We're not going to, look, I wouldn't take it from, I would not take this from any Christian group. The Ku Klux Klan is pretty much excommunicated in this country. Sorry, I almost said a word. I'm getting mad.
The Ku Klux Klan.
The Ku Klux Klan.
There's only 2 L's. Yeah. Try again.
The Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, well, they claim they're a Christian organization, though, but they ain't, so I don't think any Christians will say, oh, yeah, it's us and them, the church down the street, Ku Klux Klan, the Protestant church on the corner. Yeah, we all in a bake sale. Ku Klux Klan ain't showing up to a bake sale.
You don't say Ku Klux Klan right either.
How about I just say the KKK? How about I say fuck them white boys? How about that?
Okay.
How about that? Better? How about that? Better for you?
Except they're all descended from African Americans.
Yeah, right. They all got slaves. That's the funny thing, man. They're like the people that owned, like the masses that they think they came from. those masters had kids with the slaves, and that yo man, you think your name's Leroy and you're a white dude? No,
we as a nation have been rapey for a very long time.
Yeah, so we love being rapey.
Yeah, well, you got some of the rapiest people on the planet.
That is true. Started with the Indians.
I would disagree with it. It's not in our Bible that it's okay to rape. It's in
no.
other
We
people.
don't claim that we're religiously exempt for. I mean, we're
But
just
that-
like,
but
oops.
but the Quran does. But the Quran does. It actually says if someone falls in your possession, you
I
can
know.
have her. It is okay to sleep with prepubescent girls. Now, I don't believe that the current people that follow Islam right now, modern people, that live here and aren't jihadists.
But
and
you're
don't
talking
wanna
about
go.
people that live here, right? Okay.
Not all people that live here. I mean, people that just.
But it's different. I have a feeling that if we interviewed people that followed Islam here in the United States,
Right.
a lot of American people have chosen that,
Right.
and I think that they have selected some of the more peaceful parts of the Quran.
Yeah, I don't think they follow all of it.
I don't think they follow all
Yeah,
of it.
I don't think so.
But I think that would be a different interview from going over to the Middle East and interviewing people that were born and raised into the culture and the religion over there.
Would it be cool to be peaceful here though, but have that in your back pocket at any moment? You could just crack the book and be like, no, I'm gonna plow the field.
No, you can't.
Can't do that.
Although in the
I'm
here
just saying,
in America,
some people do that.
they do try. I mean, when girls are raped, some of our rapier people have tried the old "she was asking for it" trick.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
old.
true.
They took a little page from the Quran, and that she was wearing a short skirt.
Yeah, they have.
She smelled really nice.
She is sin. Come on, it's not my fault.
Haram.
She's sin. She's salam. So here's the thing, guys. I know this is going to piss some people off, and if you are a Muslim follower of Islam, I don't care because I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about anybody who uses any religion, Westboro Baptist Church, Islam. If you have the balls to use a religion as an excuse to kill people, literally, you should be taken out of the plan. We should just have a plan. I always talk about we need to evolve as a race of people, but I think we need to take two steps back, de-evolve just a bit, and just take out anybody who just hates because of some book that was written 1,500 years ago. And I'm talking about Christians too. Any Christian extremists. If you got a cross with Christ on it tattooed on one arm and a swastika on the other, you don't really get it. You don't really get it. But you're also not going into into Gary Trudeau's office who writes Doonesbury and shooting him either. I just think we have become too tolerant. We are too tolerant of the assholes.
The fear of talking about it,
Right.
About the religion.
I have a little bit right now, by the way, just to let you know.
Are you done? The fear of talking about that religion is directly correlated to how much violence that group of people has perpetrated on our society. Because we, like you said, we are very free with making jokes about Scientologists. I have a joke, so do you. In both of our shows, we both make a joke about Scientology because they've never killed anyone. They don't. There's no violence. There's no, right? Are you going to stop talking all completely?
I'm listening.
Well, when I stop talking, then that's when people usually
that's
talk.
crazy. That's why them rules was written. See how crazy she was? Please stop talking. Then you stop talking. And she
No,
mad you
just
stop talking.
every time I start to talk, you talk
I gotta
over
defend
me.
him right now. See,
I would like for everyone that has been listening to this
No, he
podcast to
interrupted
please
you.
post on Twitter and Facebook
No,
how often you guess he has talked over me.
Yo, he interrupted you. Number one, he gets his ass up and he writes that damn Armageddon update all the time. He actually makes this thing happen, so I don't think you get to jump on his ass that much.
Oh, please.
Thank you.
I cannot believe that you
Thank
just
you.
took his
That
side
was very
for once.
nice. I think that's a valid point. It's a valid point. So sometimes I get the thing going. I talk for 35 minutes, then you jump in, and my brain is going, and I jump in. I don't mean to interrupt.
I just
you.
want to make one point. That was my one point, is that you have to stop and think. You have to realize that the reason that you're afraid to talk about it, the reason you're uncomfortable listening to us talk about it, the reason why everyone in America would cringe if we did jokes about it on stage is directly correlated to the violence of that faith and the violence that we have witnessed as Americans.
Let's clear it up. Violence that has been perpetrated in the name of that faith. Let's be clear.
Right.
It's violence that has been perpetrated in the name of that faith. But you don't see a lot of people claiming L. Ron Hubbard, killing a bunch of people and going, L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology. You don't see that. You see a lot of people going, Buddha made me do it. I did this to protect Buddha. Doesn't happen. You don't see people going, well, I killed a bunch of people because maybe I wasn't happy, and so my God would not be so much happy had I not killed them.
That's my point.
Right, exactly. So,
there is a reason.
There's a reason. It's in the Quran, and it's listed through it. So when people say, no, man, it's just like any other religion. No, it's actually not. It's actually really not. There's some good stuff in it, too. Fine, just like other religions. Help your brother, be charitable, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this whole section where it's okay to kind of destroy women, treat them as lesser citizens, and if people don't believe what you believe, kill them. Okay, so that's why it's different. Yeah, but Old Testament, we're going to take the Old Testament out of it. It's Bible 2.0. We all follow the Bible 2.0, right?
I do. Any religion that makes
I just love Bible 2.0.
Any group of people smaller,
right?
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. How can you say women? I mean, it's like I just want any woman that follows this.
Oh, she's getting amped up now.
It just blows my mind. It blows my you're okay. You're okay with that? It's like you said wearing the pup tent. You're okay with that because you're sinful, because you're beautiful. You're not allowed to have desires, wants, ideas, aspirations, hopes, a voice.
It's like Stockholm syndrome.
You're not allowed. Yeah, you're not allowed to not have an expectation of being raped.
It's basically institutionalized Stockholm syndrome. Basically, women that are like, oh no, I'm supposed to cover up every inch of my body because now I was reading an article because I was on the internet today. I was reading an article and they were talking about this woman was living in Saudi, I think, and she was talking about how some of these women had to cover up. But then she would go to her gym where all these women, there was a pool, and they were in the hottest clothes, the newest bathing suits, all like dressed to the nines, be like makeup, hair, skin product. It's perfect. It's not like under those veils, they're these troll women.
No,
they're amazing.
And they're wearing designer stuff. My mom always talks about on the plane coming back from the Middle East. Yeah. They get on in the abaya, fully covered, and halfway through, they go to the bathroom, they come out, and they're in, half shirts, tight pants, 6-inch heels, tons of makeup. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the hypocrisy of all religions, but specifically this one.
Or the fact that homosexuality amongst men in the Middle East?
Rampant. Yeah.
My mom has students coming to her to talk about it, to talk about their different experiences. Yes, because they feel whatever. Yes, it's rampant. They go out for those desert parties, just all men, and it's a party.
Are you kidding me?
They plow the fields. It's rampant. They go out and plow the fields together.
They don't exactly plow the field. They do the back 40. Just leave it at that.
Oh, damn, man. You made a butt jump. He made a butt jump. He said the back 40, man.
I thought it was the back 9. I've never heard it.
Oh, that's a golf term.
Right.
Guy. I'm a black dude, and I know that's a golf
right.
term.
What are you
It's
referencing?
not the back.
What's 40?
Plow the fields, the back 40. The back 40
I've
of
never
the fields.
plowed a field.
See, I actually related it and connected it. You connected it to golf. I connected it to farming.
Because I'm very literal, and I pictured the little cup with the ball and the...
Guys. 9 guys in 1 guy is what you pictured.
Right.
Oh,
is that weird?
It's a little weird.
That's what it is.
So anyway, I have to be honest with what's going on in the world right now with all the terrorist attacks being done in the name of Islam. I'm really anti-Islam right now, and I don't have any problem saying it. If a bunch of Christians, if there was just Christian groups just slaughtering people, going into malls and killing people, I'd be anti-Christian too.
And not only that, moving over there and slaughtering people. And killing children.
Yeah. We moved to Iraq and just started, and Christian name just starts blowing up mosques.
Would that be a problem?
I think it bothers some people.
I think it might be.
I think so, and I think some people would they'd be afraid to talk about it at times. But then eventually, isn't it weird that they said that protest in France was the biggest protest ever? There was like 2 to 3 million people in the streets, and so do you know what you did, guys? By adopting this philosophy, you jihadists, and you're all pussies, by the way. Every one of these jihadists, flat out pussies. Every single one of you just created a firestorm that you have no idea. Had you just left it alone, 60,000 issues of the magazine a month, that really no one would have cared. But now that you did this asinine act, guess what? Now everybody knows, and everybody's pissed. And now it's not going to be 3 people talking, 30 people talking, 300 people talking. It's going to be 3 billion people talking about how much bullshit this is.
Yeah, but the thing is, nobody does anything because we're all scared. Nobody does anything.
I'm not scared.
Everybody is afraid of stepping on everybody's toes. But, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's a reason why when you get on a plane and a dude with a turban gets on the plane, your stomach sinks just a little bit.
That's called profiling. And by the way, that's also why when a black
it's how people survive.
Yeah, that's also why when a black dude comes up to you behind the ATM, what do you think? Be
right.
honest.
Terror.
No, man. See, that's bullshit right there, man. See, no, see, we all live in the same world. The problem is that the reason we're taking our shoes off at the plane, the reason we're getting that you can't take more than 2 ounces of shampoo is not because of some Christian dude. It's not because of some Scientologist. It's because of some Muslim dudes who follow Islam. That's what happened. So that's why the world has changed. Like all of us around the world have been changed by this. And I think that we are now fed up. Listen, people, when they get to the point where they're taking out cartoonists, fuck. Seriously? Really? Like is that the big enemy now? So if your religious faith has got you so paranoid and your religious faith is so fucking weak that it can't take a couple of cartoons, then it ain't a religion. It's a psychotic dogma, and that needs to end, frankly.
Wow.
He's fired up in
Dude,
2015.
What just happened? What just happened to you? I'm just tired of it, man. As I'm sitting here listening to you when you read the rules, and like, how do you treat women like that, man? How do you treat women like that and make it okay? And again, like you said, how do women accept it? How do women go, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you want me to cover up and be less than you? Oh, I'm a degree less than you?
Because we all know deep down they are. We just don't say it.
Right, exactly. You hold her up like she the princess, she the queen, but at the end of the day, you go at your boys, you're like, holy crap. You
Interesting.
Where
did you come from?
You ain't going to believe the shit that
Where did you come from?
Me or him?
Either one of you.
What do you mean, where did we come from?
Your entry into this world, what did you come out of?
I entered through a vagina.
That's exactly right, B, and don't forget it.
And you're going to go out the same way.
I was just going to say that.
It doesn't make as much sense. My vagina brought you in, and my vagina going to take you out. What?
She's a dancer.
Yeah.
Snap.
She does a lot of Kegels.
Yes.
So I don't know, man. I think it's time for everybody to start standing up and saying, again, if there was a bunch of Buddhists that were just killing everybody and blowing up shit and talking shit and putting out and going in and like putting up threats on the internet, I think we'd all turn towards the Buddhists and go, hey, this is gonna stop now. And I think killing this cartoonist dude and all of them, man. Can you imagine just working your job? Like, we're just doing a podcast, right? So some dude comes in because we did a podcast and shot all of us. Like, does that make any sense to anything? Does it change anything? All it does is get people fired up. Now everybody hates Islam now. People are anti-Islam because of these assholes. Anyway, I'm just to the point. I'm tired. I'm fed up.
Well, the British prime...
Me too. I'm with you. I got your back.
I got your back, too. The French prime minister has now declared a war on terrorism, whatever that means.
Yeah, every time the French declare a war, nothing really happens.
I know, but I have a feeling that they're going to have some backup in this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's another thing too is our media sucks so bad. You know, they were talking about how, so they're showing the video of these guys doing this in France, and the media's going, they're going, look at how cold and calculating they are. Look at the expertise with which they went into the building. Hey. They went into an office where guys are writing jokes and drawing pictures. You know, they weren't badasses. They didn't do an op. They didn't go in and take, like, our guys went in, landed 6 helicopters in the middle of the night when no one heard them and took out Osama bin Laden.
I know. I love that every time something like this happens, though, the number 2 guy gets killed.
Oh, yeah. Number 2 guy's dead.
Number 2 guy is hiding in a bunker right now.
Yeah, number 2. You don't want to ever be, in any terrorist organization, you do not want to be the number 2 guy, ever, because you're done. You're dead. So anyway, and ISIS too, killing reporters. Really, you're killing reporters. Like, they're not going after. You never see them holding up the baddest ass, Navy SEAL, Army Ranger. You never see them holding up that guy. It's always some skinny ass, white, pasty ass reporter that they cut his head off.
Humanitarian aid people,
exactly.
Reporters,
right?
Yes,
Bunch of pussies. God, all you jihadists, bunch of pussies. And by the way, if tomorrow someone puts a gun on my head and says Allah Akbar and blows my head off, you're still a pussy. You're a comedian, really? you're still a pussy. It's like these guys. I'm so tired of it. And the thing is that we have been allowed to be terrorized because we've reacted to it. We have reacted to it. And, people are afraid. People are afraid to say anything. But if you look at who they killed, look, a man doesn't. A 2-year-old killed his mom in Walmart. If a 2-year-old can use a gun, guess what? You're still a pussy. Then you're not doing anything special.
And because of that, I actually am against all 2-year-olds.
Yeah,
I
me too.
hate
Yeah.
2-year-olds. I'm going to take a stand. I feel uncomfortable saying this. I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for it, but I hate them.
Yeah.
And they're disgusting.
And they can kill people.
2-year-olds kill.
But that's how easy it is to kill somebody with a gun. You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything special. I'll tell you what, build a hospital. Build a hospital and save a bunch of people. That's fucking hard. Yeah, go ahead. How about this? Maybe feed a bunch of people who don't have food. How about that? That's fucking hard. Pulling a trigger, just a pussy. I'm Christopher Titus, and this may be my last podcast.
Yeah, man. I'd like to retract everything I said, frankly. I was just kidding.
Hot on the heels
Not
of
me.
my...
I wasn't kidding. I'm not kidding.
Of my reality show, if you remember, where... Do you remember what was the reality show that I proposed where we dropped people into the jungle and whomever made it home? Do you remember this?
Boots on the ground? No.
It was around the boots on the ground
Right.
time. Hot on the heels of the success of that, I'd like to propose Islam versus women, the cage match.
In the octagon. Except you don't. But you don't get guys.
Ronda Rousey steps into the octagon.
There you go. And you pick anybody
Against
on your side.
Hamid Akbar.
Yeah, and you don't get to bring your guns, and you don't get to bring your boyfriend. You get to go. You have to go up against her 1-on-1. Let's see how that goes.
1-on-1. Hey, no weapon.
No.
And she's just a woman. She's only half of you.
She's half of you, and she's at least a degree below you and smart. You could take her out.
I wouldn't say that any of them that I've seen on the news, like the ISIS guys or any of them, not a lot of them look like they've been doing dumbbell curls.
No, not a lot of pull-ups going on.
Not a lot of shaving, not a lot of push-ups.
No.
So let's just, I'm saying, I would actually volunteer, and I'm no Ronda Rousey, but I feel like I've got enough pent up inside. Like, let's go.
Yeah, you'd be talking shit the whole time, too. That'd be great. 1 degree, how's that feel? This would be like 1 degree less.
It gets me kind of fired up.
No, you get your ass kicked by half a woman. How's that feel, bitch? I would love to see that. I would pay. Well, I think we could pack a stadium.
Hell yeah.
I know we could pack a stadium.
But you against who? You pick anybody, man. The head. Would you take the head of Boko Haram 1-on-1?
Osama bin Laden. I would have taken him easily. Like
He was like 6'6".
Yeah, but he weighed $110.
Yeah, but he was 6'6", man.
Pussy.
You got that reach. Now I got the reach on you.
I'm 6 feet.
Oh,
almost.
on top of that, the guy who was they found porn. So talk about a guy who supposed to follow the tenets of Islam. This dude had porn in his thing. Come on, it's
Coke and Cheetos. I'm telling you, I could take him.
But hypocritical, as we've seen so many times in the Christian faith. You got these preachers that are preaching, and all of a sudden we find out they have 3 hooker mistresses, and hypocritical.
Here's what I will say about that.
No, you don't get to defend your religion too, because by the way,
no, I actually do. So you can't make up rules. What I will say, and the difference is,
everybody else seems to.
And the difference is that people will be people. And so easily I could say in the Islamic faith, people will be people. They will fall short. They will not follow the 5 pillars that they're supposed to follow. Is is he giving 2.5% of every check that he gets? Is he praying 5 times a day? Is he going to Mecca? Probably not. People will be people. The difference is that Jimmy Swaggart is banging hookers.
Right.
Okay. If the leader of Osama bin Laden was banging hookers, okay.
He was.
I'm sure he was. He's a man. No, whatever. Yeah. It's that he's then going after banging the hooker and killing 2,998 people in our country. There is my problem. If he wants to bang a hooker, God bless, or Allah bless him. Allah bless him.
It's probably in the rules anyway.
It probably is.
It's probably okay.
But it's part 2 of his day that I take issue with.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. It's the other part. It's the it's the killing part. I agree. All right, I'm going to move on.
It's the old beheading part.
It's the old beheading. Hanging him from the soccer goalpost at halftime. That's a little too much.
It's a little much.
In Saudi right now, the problem is Saudi is such an ally of ours. But in Saudi, supposedly in the last 3-4 months, they've beheaded numerous people.
You've got schoolgirls kidnapped.
Yep.
Kept captive and being raped, and that's fine. It's fine because they're allowed to.
You gotta know our culture. Hey, don't come criticize. You need to know our culture.
Well, you need to know my culture, motherfucker. Step into the octagon. Come on!
And now, from sea to shining sea, continent to continent, and sometimes space, it's Bombshell Rae bringing you the Bombshell News.
That's an explosion.
That's his new thing. I don't know. He's in a mood. Ever since 2015 began, he's reading newspapers.
Look, we all gonna die, right? We all gonna die. So
my gosh, we are?
I think at one point, man, it's time to start stepping up and do your job. Say what you're supposed to say. Because you know what? At the end of the day, no one laid on the deathbed and go, man, thank God I was quiet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say now.
Well, that scares the hell out of me. Thank you. Good. Like you've held back for so long. Thanks, man.
You're welcome. All right, go do the news.
Yeah, do the news.
The couple, Jerry Rice, this is in San Diego, and Janice Reuter, bought their dream home in San Diego in Carmel Valley, very upscale area.
Jerry Rice.
A lot of strange things started to happen. Their home got listed for sale on the internet. Their mail stopped over Christmas. They were inundated with over $1,000 worth of magazines and books they had not ordered. On Valentine's Day, an angry neighbor confronted Rice, asking him why he was sending Valentine's Day cards to his wife. At least 8 of his neighbors got similar cards. So they just moved into their dream home, right?
Jerry Rice, the 49ers Jerry Rice.
His name is Jerry Rice. I don't think it's the same guy.
Okay, all right. Dream home. Okay,
then he types his wife's name into an internet search engine and discovers the annoying pranks had morphed into something much worse. Advertisements for sex with his wife popped up. Someone had posted an ad inviting strangers to their home address for a, quote, Carmel Valley freak show. The ad encouraged men to drop by their home and perform sexual favors on his wife while he was at work. Do you know why?
I'm guessing it wasn't the realtor that was doing it.
A lady named Kathy Rowe. She was a former San Diego Mother of the Year, has been arrested because she was bidding on the home against them, and they won. And so
because she didn't get the home, she did all that?
This is not a really good advertisement for women after that whole Islamic thing that we discussed.
Or is it? I would say not. There's not a man that would go that far. Talk about a step above. You look. That's worth 2 men.
They outbid her on the $700,000 house that she wanted, and so she started going after them. So he's got husbands in the neighborhood wanting to kick his ass because he's writing Valentine's Day card. Like she solicited rape on Craigslist.
Oh damn! See that's why women crazy. Maybe those rules got written in the Koran because they were afraid. They were scared of how far women would go.
She's got 10-year stay-away orders.
We're gonna have to keep these bitches down because if we let them loose out of that abaya, man, all hell gonna break loose.
She then emailed after people responded to those Craigslist ads. She emailed as the dude's wife. It said that she had fantasies of being raped while her husband was at work.
Oh my God. Wow. Please tell me she's going to jail.
She was asking men to show up and force their way into the door because that's her fantasy, and totally taking me while she says no. She actually...
wow, is this woman going to prison?
No, this is California. Of course not. She got a year of home electronic surveillance, 5 years of probation in order to stay away from them for 10 years. By the way, all that's going to happen for the next 10 years is she's going to get angrier.
We need to send her a bunch of magazines. Subscriptions. We need to actually get her address and just send. We should actually get all of our people, because they couldn't arrest all of us. If everybody would just write, because I couldn't do 1,000 of them, but if we could all do 5 magazine subscriptions to this woman, she can get her address and her name. What's her name?
Kathy Rowe, Rowe, in San Diego.
San Diego. So everybody send her 5 magazine subscriptions. Yeah. Of course, then again, I just don't do it, guys, because I've just done a podcast about it. So they go, yeah, it doesn't matter. She got 52,000 magazine subscriptions. Yeah, they can't get all of us. Yeah, but they can get you because you actually talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, but if I were sentenced to home for a year, I would welcome magazine subscriptions. It's very kind of you.
I'm reading People Brazil now. It's so good.
It's not so much of a punishment.
It's true. You're just basically giving them time fillers.
We could use the most interesting man's trick and rent a dumpster right next to her house that she's not allowed to leave and fill it with manure.
Oh, that's so good. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there more news, or are you just going to let me hang here in the ether by myself?
This is the
she
theme
running
of
stuff
this
right now, but
news.
she ain't doing it like you do. You keep it going, man. She just let the dead air happen. Dead air. What happened?
I got a lot on my mind, man. I'm
Yeah, that's
having
true.
trouble staying focused. The theme of this news is the brilliance of women in Kansas. A woman is said to have sat on her boyfriend's toilet for 2 years. Deputies are now investigating whether she was mistreated, but a man called into the sheriff's department last month to report that something was wrong with his girlfriend. The 35-year-old Ness City woman's skin had grown around the toilet seat. She initially refused emergency medical service, but was finally convinced by responders and her boyfriend that she needed to go to the hospital.
Wait, say this again? What happened?
She'd been sitting on her boyfriend's toilet seat for 2 years, and her skin had fused into it.
She was living in the bathroom, basically?
They had to... They had to use your face. They had to use a pry bar and remove the rest of it. They're trying to. She was not glued.
Come on. This you made this up.
No, EMT said that she was not glued. She was not tied. She was physically fused, stuck. You know, if your skin it's porous. It will fuse, like that dude in our early news
You
stories
keep
that
talking-
fused to the recliner.
I get the mechanics of sitting on something too long, but the mental.
The guy says, the boyfriend says that he brought her food and water and asked her every day to please come out of the bathroom. Her reply would be, maybe tomorrow. According to him, she did not want to leave the bathroom. He's the one that eventually called the sheriff's department after 2 years. I feel like after 2 weeks, I would probably have called. Maybe 2 hours.
After 2 days of you sitting on the toilet, I am going to have a medevac chopper hovering over the house, and I will have 6 guys at the door banging on it, embarrassing you. Get off the toilet. Why? Because you're starting to fuse. It's only been 2 days. I don't care.
Yeah, you're right. 2 weeks is even excessive.
Oh, my God.
2 years. He's not explaining why it took him 2 years to call. But they did find her clothes sitting on the toilet. She had sweatpants down to her mid-thigh. She was somewhat disoriented, and her legs looked like they had atrophied.
Yeah, well, you sit on toilet long enough, man. Everything gonna atrophy. Damn. What? I don't understand. I don't quite understand how that happened.
Chipotle.
Yeah, that's true. You get a couple bad Chipotle scares. We doing? I'm living on this damn toilet.
That's a good point. That's valid.
Florida couple
Smells like Florida. Does that smell like Florida?
spent days.
Of course, that last story smelled like Florida, too.
Spent days. That was Kansas. In an unlocked closet because they thought that they were in a locked closet.
I saw pictures of this. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
And again, classy women, classy ladies here
Except
in the
they said
United States.
it was
She's
full
got
of
a
poop.
dollar bill, y'all, and it's tattooed on her goiter. A pair of trespassers, they were breaking into a home, spent 2 days in a closet because they thought they were trapped inside. They told police that someone had chased them into the closet once they were... Oh, no, it wasn't a home. It was the Environmental Science Center. They were inside the janitor's closet, and they thought they couldn't get out. They finally, it wasn't until Tuesday that the dude decided to call 911. Daytona Beach police arrived and just opened the door that was not locked. Cops found human feces and drug paraphernalia in the closet.
So here's the thing.
But they didn't find any drugs.
Here's the thing. So what is it about? They're very obviously smart criminals because they were like, we need to score. We need to get some money. Let's break into the science center.
The Marine Science Center.
Yeah, right. Right. So scary people could be in there with guns that could hurt you really bad. And they broke in, got in to the Marine Science Center, and then locked themselves in a janitor's closet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I say don't do drugs, it's not because I'm anti-drugs. It's because I'm anti-stupid. And when you're on drugs, you're just stupid. Like, the door wasn't locked. The cops basically rescued them by
Just
turning
opening
the
door.
knob.
Yeah. Awkward.
It smells like Florida. Oh, man. Florida it's a great cartoon of Bugs Bunny sawing Florida off. And I just always think that would be such a good solution.
Fourth graders have been suspended after plotting to kill their teacher with hand sanitizer.
Oh my God, these are the dumbest. Children are stupid.
They really are stupid.
They're really stupid. Hand sanitizer, really.
This happened in New York, Elba, New York. They were conspiring to kill their teacher. 3 fourth-grade girls. See, still keeping with the brilliant women theme here.
Again, I think Willie's right. That's why the Quran says they're worth half, because if you give them all that power, you let them be equal, they're going to kill you with hand sanitizer. And that's when they're fourth graders.
I'll just kill you in your sleep. They learned that their teacher was severely allergic to hand sanitizer.
You kill me every time you just look at me.
Oh my gosh.
That works on you. It so works on you. Shut up. So they're going to put it in her coffee or something?
No, they were going to put it all over items of hers that they knew that she would touch. She's severely allergic. She'd have anaphylactic shock. This story's boring.
How can you be allergic to sanitizer? Like you're allergic to nothing? You're allergic to something that kills everything?
I don't know.
That seems kind of weird.
Maybe the alcohol in it?
Yeah, it's odd, though.
I don't know. I would never hang out with that person.
Bad plan.
Oh, Poop Hands McGee.
Yeah. What is that smell? Why do you always smell like pastrami? I can't clean my hands because allergic to everything. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You smell like the underside of a taint after a marathon.
What kind of marathons do you have with a taint?
No, how's your taint going to smell after
running
a
running
marathon? Yeah.
I thought you meant like a taint marathon. I was trying to think, how could I?
What is wrong with you? A taint?
What the hell is a taint marathon?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, but why would he even say that? That had nothing to do with nothing, man. Taint marathon.
And coming around the corner, it's Rachel's taint. Rachel's taint coming around the corner really fast, really fast. Looks like she's going to pull ahead. I don't know why.
It's not a marathon.
It's not a marathon.
No, you're doing a much shorter race if you're talking with that kind of excitement. But if it was taints, you'd be excited.
And she's coming around the corner.
The guy with the Kenyan with the tank. The Kenyan tank seems to be leading the pack. The Kenyan tank came in at a record, 1 hour 14 minutes. All these face-to-face white tanks going to take a while. Because you know why? It was a bucket list thing, and they decided to run, these tanks decided to run when they was 40 just to give their life some purpose.
Exactly. There you go. That's a good point. His was more accurate. It sounded like a marathon.
Just because he said Kenyan. That's the only reason.
That's right. It's accurate.
Taint a marathon.
All right, guys. So, by the way, if you happen to see a jihadist, call him a pussy to his face. Okay? That's a good idea.
What?
I don't know.
Or a 2-year-old. Same.
Yeah, 2-year-old too. By the way, yeah, and make sure to take the gun away from the 2-year-old. All right, guys. I'm Christopher Titus. Do me a favor. The new special is out. Angry Pursuit of Happiness. It's online. You can only get it right now at ChristopherTitus.com. Go there, download it for $9, or if you want a hard copy, go to the website, hit on it. It's their $20. I will sign them. If you want a personal message, put that in the box. But get it. It's good. It's an hour and 50 minutes of my best stuff.
While you're there, buy shit on Amazon. Click through the Amazon link on the website.
That's right, guys. We have to keep the podcast going. You know, if you guys want to hear me rant and say stuff that you because I don't think a lot of people will be ballsy enough to say what we said on this podcast. I think a lot of people be like, "Oh, we're good. Everybody's religions are fine. Blah blah blah. Let's don't call anybody on it."
By the way, if you want to have words with Christopher Titus, you can go to Grand Rapids Wealthy Theater Thursday the 15th.
Great, and that's where my last show will probably be after this last podcast.
Milwaukee Vogel Hall. Milwaukee on the 16th, Friday night. And then Saturday night, the Pantages in Minneapolis.
Yep.
Come and keep us warm. It's going to be super cold, although not as cold as it was last week. It was negative digits, but I think we're over the 0 this week.
It's a heat wave, tropical heat wave.
Then coming up after that, 29th, University of Central Oklahoma Mitchell Hall on the 29th, the 30th Austin, Texas Paramount Theater, and Saturday the 31st, right before Super Bowl, Dallas, Texas Theater. Go to ChristopherTitus.com to click through to buy tickets.
Thanks for listening, guys. Again, click to the Amazon link on the website. Or sorry, click on the Amazon link, and we get a little bit. Help us out.
A little
with the
something,
podcast.
something.
Yeah, and we'll keep doing this. God, I write a lot of these.
Yeah, you do.
I do. You know, we've done like almost, I think this is our third, and we're 3.5 years in right now.
Holy crap.
Titus Podcast, 3.5 years in. We've said shit that nobody will say.
And on cue.
All right, guys. I'm Christopher Titus. That's the Titus Podcast. Thanks for listening. Later.
Peace out.
Jello. Yo, man, you didn't say for myself, Rachel Bradley.
Bombshell Rae.
And Bombshell Rae and for Willie Jello Johnson. Later. You didn't say it like that.
He's distracted by the fact that he left his phone on.
Yeah, man, turn off your damn phone.
I just got a text, man. Don't
Did
worry.
you get a phone for Christmas?
I got to go.